Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Theory Tuition series where I lead you step by step through the ABRSM theory grades. I'm going to work through each exercise with you. You need to make sure that you have this ABRSM Music Theory and Practice workbook. We're starting to make good progress through grade 2. There are loads of resources available to help you work through all of this on my website. If you visit sharonbill.com, you'll find some free PDF information sheets like this. They're available in US letter or A4 and they'll accompany every step of this series. I'll be making lots of reference to this, so you need to download that to help you. There's also a page with links to all of my YouTube video tutorials, and you can access information about the books that I have available. It's likely that you're working towards the ABRSM exam, and I've written a book, How to Take Your ABRSM Music Theory, and it helps you with lots of hints and tips and techniques of how to best prepare for your exam and also how to best make use of that exam time once you're actually in the exam room. So if you go to sharonbill.com, it's all there for you. Please do access that. So make sure you've got your grade 2 theory workbook to hand. Make sure you've got a nice sharp pencil, an eraser and a ruler, and we're ready to get cracking. So if you turn in your workbook to page 7, we're going to look at time signatures. So I'm going to refer to this as section B, and it will then link in with the PDF sheet B, where I've given you all the information that you need to know to help you to work through this. We're going to be looking at time signatures. And up until now, in grade 1, we've only dealt with a time signature where the bottom number is 4. However, now we're going to change so that we can be looking at this bottom number as being 2 or 4 or 8. Now you'll remember from your grade 1 section B that the top number tells you how many beats and the bottom number tells you what type of beat. And I've itemised for you what each of these bottom numbers refer to. So the bottom number 2 means that we're counting in minim or half notes. In the time signature where the bottom number is 8, we're counting in quaver beats or eighth notes. And of course we've dealt with 4 where the bottom number 4 represents crotchet beats or quarter notes. So that's itemised there for you. However, if I just refresh your memory on the pyramid that was in your grade 1, it helps you to remember why that system is. So we have our semibreve or our whole note that divides into 2 minims or half notes. So you can see we've divided into halves here. If we divide again, we've got quarters. So we've got quarter notes or crotchet beats, and if we divide again, we've got 8. So we've divided into eighths or quavers, which look like that on their own, like that in 2s, or like that in 4s. And that gives you the clue, if you think about your fractions, as to why these time signatures have the bottom numbers that they do. So the bottom number 4 means quarters, which are quarter notes or crotchet beats. So we're counting in units of crotchets. If the bottom number is 2, you can see we divided, think about your fractions of halves. We're now counting in half notes, which are minims. And then if we look at the bottom number, if you think of your fraction of eighths, you can see that we're now counting in eighth notes, so we're counting in units of quaver beats or eighth notes, and that's why we changed that bottom number to show which unit we are now counting in. So we changed the unit in which we count. And then the top number, there's just a quick reference point. If there are 2 beats in a bar, regardless of what sort of beat it is, if there are 2 main beats per bar, we know that we are in duple time. Just a quicker way of saying 2 beats per bar, we're on duple time. If there are 3 beats in a bar, we're in triple time. And if there are 4 beats in a bar, we're in quadruple time. So that kind of makes sense really. And so we're just always referring back to what we learned in grade 1 section B, where the top number tells us how many beats and the bottom number tells us what sort of beat or what type of beat. However, now this bottom number can also change. And so we're counting in either minim beats or half notes, quaver beats or eighth notes, or the 4 from the previous grade, which means crotchets or quarter notes. So it's here for you in your PDF sheet. However, it's also very simple to work out thinking of your fractions here. The only other thing to add for this first exercise is you'll notice here this new time signature. It looks like common time, which was 4/4. However, there's a line down it now, and the vernacular is known as split common time. However, the official title is ABRSM, and it just means 2/2, or 2 minim beats, 2 half notes per bar. Now, if we just think about that for a moment, it looks the same mathematically as 4/4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But if we write it 2/2, we could have the same number of beats, but we would count that very differently. So 4/4, we're counting 4 crotchets or 4 quarter notes per bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, because we're counting in units of a crotchet. Whereas now we're counting in units of a minim, and so we have 2 minims or 2 half notes per bar. So we would count this differently. Although it looks the same and it will sound the same, we're counting it in different units. And so now we'd be counting 1 and 2 and, because we're counting in groups of minims or half notes. So it's just the way that we count it. All the notes stay the same relationship to each other, but we count it in different units. And so perhaps if you can press pause and have a go and work through exercise 1, just kind of getting your head around these new time signatures. By all means, refer to your PDF sheet, section B, that top part we've just been looking at. Don't worry if you get it wrong. You're writing in pencil, always write in pencil. You can always rub it out and have another go. Don't just copy as I do the answers in a moment. Do try it for yourself first. It's much better to learn by your mistakes. And so have a little go at that and we'll work through it together in a moment. So I'm hoping that you've had a little go of that yourself, and so now we're going to work through this together. So what does the 2 in 3/2 mean? Remember, we're counting in half notes, and so we're counting in minim beats or half notes. So the 2 means minim beats or half notes. And so following that same progression of thought, what does the 8 in 3/8 mean? Because it's the bottom number, it tells us what beat we're counting in, and we're counting in eighths or quavers. So it would be quaver beats or eighth notes. Okay, so the full meaning of 4/2, so we need to carefully explain the top note and the bottom note. So there are 4 beats per bar, but each beat that we are counting is a minim or a half note. So we would say 4 minim beats per bar, or we would say 4 half notes per bar. You don't need to use both of those, just choose which system you're most familiar with. We've got the classical system or the pop, American pop system. Usually it depends which instrument you play, which reference you prefer to use. And so, right, the time signature of ABRSM in numbers, and we know that's 2/2. Remember, we're not doing maths, although it's quite mathematical. We don't need the fraction line, time signatures, or just the numbers. Okay, so here's that difference between 4/4 and 2/2. So quite literally, 4/4 means 4 crotchet beats per bar, or 4 quarter notes per bar. 4 crotchet beats per bar, or you would say 4 quarter notes per bar. And so 2/2 means 2 minim beats per bar, or we would say 2 half notes per bar. And although that works out mathematically as the same equivalent, we're counting it in a different way because we've changed the unit value that we're counting in. I hope that makes sense. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you found that difficult, just press pause and go back and re-access into this video and just go over that again. You can always rub it out and try again. We'll be looking more at the next section of this in the next video. So I hope you've enjoyed it. If you can give me a like, that'd be fab. That'd be encouraging to me. And if you can subscribe to my channel to keep updated, you'll stay in tune with what's coming up next. Please do go to sharonbill.com and make the best use of all those resources available to you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.